Hi everybody, I'm Jen Long, the creative director at Sizzix. Thanks so much for tuning into my vlog. Today we are going to talk about fold-along cards. Now I get a lot of questions about fold-along cards, the technique for making them, what to do with the pieces that are included. So I just wanted to give you guys an overview of the card base in general and give you some of my tips and tricks to help you guys make the best fold-along cards possible. So let's take a look. This is my fold-along card that released in chapter 1. So essentially a fold-along card, it's an extended card base. It's like a combination of a cut on the fold and an accordion fold, and it has a pop-out label shape in the middle that is perfect for stamping on your sentiments or putting your die cut messages on there. It's sized to work with all of our chapter art stamps. But really guys, I wanted to design a card base that gave you the ability to make a large extended card for a fraction of the cost. So fold-along cards are always $19.99 or below, and for such a large card base, I'd say that is a steal. But let me show you how and why that's done. So I'm gonna actually pull out, this is our camera fold-along set that has been released for chapter 2. And I'm gonna flip it over. This is how the die arrives. So you can see that this is quite nested with all these little pieces, and you only have half of the die here. Let's take a look at, this is the camera die Project Made. We spread it out and you see you only have half of the die. That is because you cut on the fold, and that's what gives you the ability to have this nice extended card base for half of the die cost. So let me just show you how to do that for starters. I'm gonna peel the base shape off of here. I'll set this aside and we'll come back to it later. And I'm gonna come over to my Big Shot machine. So what you're gonna start with is essentially a folded piece of cardstock. I've just folded this right down the middle. You can start with a 6 by 12 piece. This one's a little shorter, so I was able to do 6 by 8.5. And you just fold that right down the middle. I love to use my magnetic platform when I'm doing a fold-along card because I know that everything is going to be held securely in place. So I'm going to put my piece down here, and I'm going to remember where my fold is. It's right here at the top. Now I'm going to take my die. This is the key part. You lay your die down so it goes just a hair over that fold. It's a really traditional old cut on the fold technique, but we've just implemented it here for fold-along cards. That's all it takes. Your magnetic platform will keep that in place as you roll it through the Big Shot machine. That cracking sound is totally normal, just a little bit of a speed bump. And then remove your excess paper, remove your card base from the die, and once you unfold this, check this out. You get your completely extended card base. That's such a large die cut to get. Next, you just fold along these score lines, and the score lines are included in the die, so it is easy to just match everything up and fold it together. This is where I kind of reference the accordion folding, because it is literally up, down, until you get your whole card base created. And that's gonna be your starting point for your card base. Now again, all the little pieces are included, but really what I love to do is to create panels. And I'm just gonna grab a sample over here. Let's see the best one to get. So let's take a look. This is an older fold-along die. This is a cactus design. You open it up, you notice that these panels are a little bit of a different color than this one. That's because we've trimmed and pasted on here just to kind of break up the color. And I think it also helps the label shape have something significant to kind of pop out of. It's a very easy technique, but I still just want to show you how it's done with what we've just cut out here. So you can see I just have an identical, this is another camera fold-along card, and I brought my trimmer with me. And all I'm gonna do is just kind of cut along those very same score lines that you just watched me fold. Cut here, I'm just gonna scoot it down, make sure my fold line is right along the cut line. And do this one more time. And now you can take your card base, I'm just gonna take some of my Sizzix adhesive, and you can see where those panels would easily align on your card base. And you just simply take a little bit of adhesive, oops, roll that on there, and then you can place those on. And you can already see how that is gonna start to break up your card base panel and again, give your centerpiece something to pop off of. So let's talk about all the pieces that are included. Remember, we looked at this. all these pieces are included to help you layer up and kind of personalize your fold along card base. So I just want to kind of show you the smartest and easiest way to put this camera fold along together. I like to start with it closed. That's because I want to match up all of these little pieces to make sure that they go together. I've already prepped these with adhesive sheets, so I'm able to just kind of peel and stick. But again, you're going to want to keep this card base closed when you add both sides of your lens, just so you know it's even and it doesn't look like, you know, like a cross-eyed camera going in the wrong direction. But I really take a lot of time to kind of include as many layering pieces as possible, just to make sure that you have the ability to build up and layer things. But something that is brand new for our chapter art fold along cards, our Panda Bear and our camera, is that there's no more need to flip over your pieces. And when I say flip over your pieces, just gonna grab my, so for instance, the Fox fold along card. It's a very popular fold along die that I created a few years ago, but the piece for the mask, it was one die, and the consumer needed to cut this out twice and flip one over. It doesn't seem like the biggest deal in the world, but we got enough messages out of it that people didn't really care for having to flip it over. They felt like they lost some of the beveled edge in there. So after that consumer feedback, all the future fold-along cards, like the camera and the Panda Bear, and even the ones coming out for chapter 3 and 4 that you guys haven't even seen yet, those are going to have all of your pieces on there in a way that you don't have to flip them over. So you're able to keep your beveled edge the right way. It's probably a little less confusing. And I'm hoping that that has kind of answered your concerns that we've got on messaging. Again, prepping with adhesive sheets is really the smartest way to just make this an easy process, especially when you're working with these kind of tinier, smaller pieces. You can see how easily everything layers up, how you're able to just pick a few select colors and then just start to build on what's happening, and how quickly I'm putting this together. And how cute is that? Just with a simple few die cuts with adhesive sheets stuck on there. Now for the camera die, the label shape to fit in this little insert does come with the die, but I wanted to share that I've actually sized this to work with an Instax photo. So you can actually put an Instax photo right into those allotted slots. And instead of having a pop-up label shape, you have a pop-up photograph. And these corner pieces are also included with the camera fold-along card dies, so you have the ability to personalize it further with those little kind of vignette corners. And that, my friends, is how you would fold a piece of paper and build up all of your layers, and even build up your panels if you wanted to for your camera fold-along. Let's walk through a couple of the old school fold-along projects. I think this jar design, this was my very first fold-along card I ever drew way back. I don't want to date myself, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But again, just an extended, unique card base with that pop-out label shape. It was a really fun project to work on. But we have our foxes, we have a generic label shape, we have our cactus that we took a look at, we have our owl fold-along, and another label shape. But I did also want to point out that you're not restricted to just making card bases. If we come down here, you can take a look at these pandas. So again, this is made from the Panda fold-along card, but we were able to create just a solid panda piece to help embellish a bag front. Again, being able to use different colors, black with polka dots or gray, really gives you the chance to kind of personalize that. And if you wanted to see how that was done, I'm just going to bring this back over here. With your camera die, all you do is fold your piece of paper and cut it out on that score line. And that gives you your full solid piece of a camera. It works for every single fold-along die that's designed. You would just cut it out on that score line as opposed to cutting it out like this, which is how we did it earlier. And then again, for the camera, we were able to make this. We cut this out of felt and you used our Sizzix iron-on adhesive sheets to kind of get that on there and build up your different layers. So really, there is a wide variety of makes that you can do with a fold-along card, but the whole point of it, again, was just to design something that you guys would be able to make a big extended card base, have a label shape that was large enough to support all of your sentiments and messages, and it wouldn't break you in the bank when you went to buy it. So all of this that you've seen here is now available at Sizzix.com. I hope you guys get a chance to play with fold-along cards and you enjoy making with them as much as I did designing them. Thanks so much for watching my vlog today.